you're turning Korean to English, it's easy to do. Lee Sin ban, and there's the Kazakhs ban as well against Vin. So what will the first pick be for the Jin Air Falcons? What do you think? Some good options out there.
It could be Twitch. It could be that Kassadin.
Oh, that
and
Kassadin
they're going to grab
through.
that for GBM. And GBM is a player who has excelled on Assassins. Of course, his Zed, really his backup pick right here.
Yep.
Now, Prime may try and play an AD carry in the mid lane, or that could be, and most likely is, a mid lane Kayle for Nomath.
Yeah, we've seen that quite a bit. Kayle, of course, a huge, huge bully in the mid lane. Really, any lane you put her in.
And Olby, he's defaulting to Elise. This is the champion that he performed the best on by far in the last season of Champions, so it's not really too big of a surprise to see him on that pick up here.
Yep. And while Cloud Templar is casting today, so naturally somebody's going to hover over Skarner for a little bit in Champ Select. It always happens.
It's the way of the world.
Someday somebody's going to accidentally pick that, and then they're going to be like, oh, great.
You know, I'm not really convinced about Prime's pickups here, Doa, because they've left a lot of very powerful champions up for grabs. The Jax still on the board, although Shyvana could be taken by them for Hanlebong up in the top lane.
Yeah.
But the Jax, the Kassadin, the Twitch.
There's the Twitch.
These are a lot of really powerful picks that have gone over to the Jin Air Falcons. And I'm not really sure that the Kayle Elise was really worth that first rotation when you're giving up these kind of champions.
Yeah, they're not really any high priority picks, really. And you have to imagine that Optimus is going with the comfort picks, especially old beyond Elise. But in this particular meta, you know, if your comfort picks aren't meta, it's really dangerous to go with that.
Well, we'll see what they have to respond with here, because they may be saving something. They may have some answer to some of these picks, which is why they took the Kayle first, so that they could have their opponents lock these in. But,
you know, what if they go for like a Caitlyn, Leona, and then they do a 2v1 or something like that? You know, do you think they could shut down Jax hard enough?
Honestly, this is probably, I think you're right, Joe. I think this is perhaps shaping up to be a 2v1 mid lane against Kassadin. Zetjin has played Caitlyn in the past. He is better on these long-range AD carries. But Caitlyn, a pick we don't see very commonly anymore.
No, always been a solid AD carry, but not necessarily standout in this particular day and age. The final two picks going over the Jin Air Falcons. And what will they go with? What do you think? Leona taken away, Thresh not available. Do you just pick the Nami in this particular case, or do you go for
Morgana?
Something?
Either is fine. Either is fine right here. And
seems like Morgana would work a little bit better.
Evelyn.
Oh, look at that. The Fiddlestick support coming in. Very cool. Very odd, though, especially after the way they nerfed his Fear. We just have not seen Fiddlestick support for forever, basically.
Yeah, this is quite odd, I must say.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of threats. I mean, what's scary about this composition, though, is that basically Twitch can stealth, and so can Evelyn, and everybody else can come over the wall at you. So this composition could be quite surprising if vision is controlled properly. There's basically, you just get surprise engaged on instantly. So that's actually pretty scary.
Hanlebong has chosen Renekton, of course. Or not maybe of course, but has chosen Renekton to go up against that Jax. And Renekton is one of his more preferred champions, but I don't know. This is going to be a pretty interesting one on both sides, really.
Now, Nomath has decided to take teleport. This says that we're probably going to see the 2v1 in the mid lane. And more than likely, what they're going to want to do is have Kayle farm under a turret against the duo lane, and then try and get Renekton into the 1v1 against Jax. If I had to guess right now, I'd say that's what we're seeing, but we may see Nomath in mid. GBM has also opted to take teleport, so honestly, guys, this game, just from the compositions, it's going to be bloody.
We're going to have people all over the place. This is what I like. See, this is the type of game where if they had fantasy OGN, this is the type of game you want to have players in, because there's going to be a lot of kills. Be a lot of action, and already things getting pretty interesting in game number 1. We'll see who takes it. Every time I see the name Nomath, though, for some reason I think of Sega Nomad. Nobody else in the world probably thinks that, but that's me, man.
That was the first time somebody has thought of a Sega Nomad in like 10 years.
Actually, Papa Smithy and I were looking for one the other day, believe it or not. But enough of that. Time to go into game number 1. Jin Air Falcons versus Prime Optimus. Who's going to move on to the winner's match, get themselves one game away from Champion Summer. It's time to get in the game and find out. Here we go. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, Match 1, JAF Falcons versus Prime Optimus. There's an underground vintage video games market here near the studio, actually. So Papa Smithy and I were looking for some hard-to-find stuff, including the elusive Sega Nomad, the great destroyer of batteries. Even more than the Game Gear.
Did you find it?
We did. We actually found one, but it was only a display thing. The shopkeeper wouldn't give it up for good reason. And they do take out that early ward. Again, this is patch 4.8, so we've got the earlier trinket timings now, the shorter cooldowns.
Yes, but Prime has started with two lenses.
Wow.
This is the first time I've seen this.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. Full ward start from both supports as well. Now we'll have to see what XD decides to skill here. Of course, the nerfs to Fiddlestick Sphere do make it a little bit interesting. Pilot is going to show onto the ward, but there are pings there, so they know the ward is sitting in between the turrets. So probably Pilot just, yes, he's not being very subtle about this.
Nope. Yeah, I think they know what's up. They should. The fans are here. Oh yeah.
So yeah, it looks like we may see a delayed invade, but looks like Prime may not get the lanes they wanted. Yep, here's the lane swap coming in. And they have guessed it. The mind games were not too subtle from Pilot right there, so he is going to be going up to the top lane. And it will be a 2v1 in mid. It's a lot of kill pressure. Of course, Leona going to be able to dive onto Cassidy if he gets anywhere near the minion wave.
Yeah, pre-level 6
and we will see a 1v1 Renekton Jax lane. So basically, this is weird because the jungle follow hasn't happened yet. They haven't seen the AD carry, so we'll see how fast Renekton is going to port here. Jack's also going to port pretty quickly, it would appear.
And going back now, but probably just going to pick up another pot or two.
So this was a little bit delayed this time because of how long it took Twitch to show up in the top lane. And Hanlabong actually continuing to jungle follow here. That's going to put Old B a little bit further behind in terms of jungling.
Oh, and Rock is going to get a lot of time in this bot lane.
Yeah, Hanlabong is going to have to go back probably and buy some items. They're going to dive.
Whoa, there it is. They are going to dive. Old B there with Hanlabong as well, and with a couple missed skill shots, GBM will get away with that flash.
Yeah, they're going to be fast pushing, though, onto this lane, and this is really problematic. Finn has to show in the mid lane. He's only level 2 right now. Ooh. GBM is able to collect a little bit of that experience there, but this has come at the price of Hanlabong still not being in lane. And now they're going to lane swap again. Hanlabong going up into top against the solo Twitch because they've correctly guessed that XD is going to have to come and cover. Or,
well, we'll see. It's
this is really wacky. Okay, they're now teleporting with Kale into the bottom lane, and there's a big minion wave here, so some experience loss, not too much. No Math is a level down on Jax, but he'll be able to catch up with this large cannon minion wave coming in.
Like Steen Vin hanging out near the river, and Old B may be making a plan to Rock here. We'll see. Rock with Flash still available. OB gonna go right into Rock. Rock checked the bushes, but it looks like it's a little bit too much for Old B to care to handle.
XZ doing some roaming right now, and actually this Renekton is still jungling while he waits for the wave to push up. He is very concerned about the Twitch level advantage, which I think he should be. Oh boy, no man. Nearly taken down by some aggressive play from Rock.
Yeah, Pilot trying his best to freeze that wave too to make it tougher for Hanlabong to get in there and farm safely. Still just level 2 is Hanlabong on Renekton this game.
Yeah, this is, and now he's in lane. So this has been very strangely played out by Prime Optimus. They basically should have sent Renekton into the 1v1 with Jax sooner, and now they've arrived at a very awkward situation. And Kale, because so much of her damage is going to be auto-attack based with the Righteous Fury, it's really not the best lane matchup versus Jax compared to Renekton, whose most of his damage is going to be in terms of AD casting that is undodgeable by the Counter-Strike. So this delay has put Prime in a weird place.
Yeah. Well, Vin throwing down the ward, which Kuehl will probably spot going down.
Yeah, he saw it.
I think he did. And Zetchin and him will just be able to keep pressure on this mid lane. Oh, Han LeBong getting a little bit chased around by Pilot and XD, and yeah, he's going to have a really hard time getting any CS at all. Maybe a little bit of XP if he's lucky. Looks like he's able to leech a little bit just by being on the edge of the minion range. But that's about it.
Well, it's going to be hard for them to dive this Jax right now. Old B just pushing him off the tower so they can get some pressure down. And this is the game that Prime's playing. You know, when you have that Caitlyn, this is all about the early game lane pressure and getting some quick towers down or collecting some objectives.
Yeah.
They maybe
Zetchin might be in a bit of trouble here. Vin coming in, and Zetchin getting very, very low. Has to pop his Summoner's Heal. He will get out. Didn't need to flash.
Yeah, he knew he was going to be able to get out of that no matter what. But that does relieve lane. It will allow GBM to farm. Now, GBM hasn't fallen behind in levels.
Yep, and Pilot.
By dodging that early dive, which I do think was a great plan coming out of Prime. Unfortunately, like you said earlier, they didn't hit those very crucial skill shots. Had they managed to get those down, then should have been a pretty easy kill onto the Kassadin with that 4-man early dive.
Yeah, well, Kuehl started out by missing his Zenith Blade and then tried to flash Ignite to make up for it. It just didn't work. Han LeBong may be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got his flash, though. There's a flash from Pilot. They really want to take him out, and they will. First blood goes to Vin. Finally catching Han LeBong, and right after he used his flash, too. Wow.
Yeah, used the Summoner Heal as well, just for the speed boost to catch up. And so they grabbed that one, and Han LeBong has been, he's not in a good situation right now. He's well behind the other top laner as a result of his choice to continue jungling and the fact that they decided to put this Kayle down into the bottom lane instead of that preferential matchup. So it is a bit confusing. Pilot goes back, picks up Bilgewater Cutlass.
Yeah. Han LeBong, the name of the little oranges that they grow on Jeju Island, south of the peninsula of South Korea. Kind of like tangerines. They're really good, though.
Okay, well,
very tasty.
They are indeed juicy.
Yep.
And here we go. Another play onto Rock.
Maybe,
they need to keep him down.
Juicy gank coming in onto Rock here. Can they catch him? Oh, nice predicted Zenith Blade from Kuehl. And that should get them the kill with this Ignite. It does. And
That
Kuehl,
was
well deserved.
such a good prediction from both Old B and Kuehl. The Cocoon also predicted with that flash as well. So good read. They saw the Leap Strike come out, knew he was going to use that flash, and we're all over it. So making up for the earlier dive by taking down Rock right now, that will help them out just a little bit. Although he is just going to teleport back in. They may be able to take a dragon here, but they're not going to. GBM looking for an angle at the moment. He wants to take out the top lane, but Han LeBong just playing back, going for those double golems, playing as safely as possible. Now blue buff going to be taken.
So if Rock builds tanky this game, could we call him Rock of Aegis?
There we go.
It begins.
If he was playing Thresh, could we ask, can you smell what the Rock is hooking?
Oh, wow. All right, I admit it there. That one was so much better than my joke. Wow. That was great, man. Well played, sir. Well, mid lane, pretty much the same as it has been. He's got to switch to support now. That's got to happen.
Yeah, sadly, something we're probably not likely to see.
Well, he was in mid lane, now he's in top lane. You never know. People like to change lanes sometimes. Reaper, other people.
Lilac,
yep.
Well,
Soon Rock.
It's a little odd that Prime hasn't been able to actually push down this tower. In fact, they haven't gotten very much damage down onto it yet. They seem reluctant to go in for the auto attacks, and they don't have good vision around the mid lane either. They need some more pink wards, but that said, Jin Air, they have pink wards around the mid lane to keep GBM safe, but so their vision control is allowing GBM to really stay in this game surprisingly well in spite of some early issues.
Yeah.
Pilot and XD going to be going back right now, so Han LeBong will get some much needed farm, but he's really far behind at this point. Had to invest some money into another Doran's item, so that's going to delay any actual core item power spikes that he has.
Yeah. He he buys too many more of those, I don't know what CLG is going to do. They need those Doran's items all game long, man.
Oh, right. Well, we don't sell them for wards, that's for sure.
It's true.
It's the way that makes me cry.
Don't worry, there's a lot of potential there yet.
So, yeah, looks like Vin and XD moving forward now. Kuehl,
oh, they're going to jump right onto Rock, but Kuehl just using that as a vehicle to get away, although he does get slowed by the Agni's Embrace, has to flash. So they get the Summoner out of Kuehl. And they're going to try to go in on a Pilot now. Old B does land the Cocoon. Can they get a stun, though? Nope, Pilot just able to stealth away.
Old B, if he wanted to make that gank, needed a pink ward. That was actually pretty much not going to work at all. So questionable decision in light of the lack of ability to cut through the invisibility by Twitch.
Sometimes you just forget what champions do, you know? What does that rat do again? The gun rat?
Gun rat doesn't.
What does gun rat do?
I mean, rats don't normally have guns, and rats also don't normally go invisible. So
Flash Fear onto Prime Nomaf, and he's actually going to get taken out. Ults himself, but can he get back to the turret in time? I don't think so.
Nope. Exhausted as well. So
wow.
Yeah, very easily taken out. That CC buying the time through the invulnerability, and the JAF Falcons looking like they're really going to power through this one. And this is the issue with the lane swap meta right now. If you mess up and your top laner gets behind, you basically lose the game. Yeah. I mean, at this point, the JAF Falcons, yeah, you could say it's only a 1.5k gold lead, but I mean, Rocket's 2 levels up on Hanlebong. Hanlebong is playing Renekton into the Jax matchup. JAF Falcons about to get a dragon free.
Yep. Jax.
It's dire. The situation is dire, and now GBM has been able to catch up in terms of CS to Nomad as well. So this team that really needed a lot of late game scaling has managed to find an early advantage. And so in just a few minutes, sure, it may look like 2K now, but with how strong this team scales, it's more like 5 or 6.
GBM wasting no time beginning the disrespect in the mid lane, spamming laugh over and over again.
He's got to wait. He has to entertain himself while he's waiting for that minion wave.
He knows what's up. Now he has to get into the minds of his opponents, you know? Rub it in, right?
Absolutely.
It's like if you're playing Jiraxis in Hearthstone, you just keep spamming mistake, mistake.
That's the best way. It's the best way to beat Jiraxis.
Yep, it's the only way, as far as I'm concerned. Pilot, nice ward there. Doesn't want to chase Hanlebong yet. Zenith Blade doesn't connect for Kuehl. And Prime is in a tough spot. Like you mentioned, not looking good. They really need to make big plays, but I think they're going to need to get a little bit lucky to do that. Old B. Down to the bot lane.
JAF moving up right now. Hanlebong again pushed in. Now, the thing about Fiddlesticks is, of course, he can dive extremely effectively, and that's always been one of his greatest strengths, even through the series of nerfs that he's suffered through.
Yeah.
And Pilot is about to take down this lane. Old B there alongside Kuehl, trying to get a tower of their own in response.
Well, they can certainly put a lot of pressure onto it. We'll see if maybe Nomaf can bait Rock into overextending. That's what they're trying to do right now. Not easy, though. They're just chunking a little bit of damage out of Rock. And so for now, this bot lane will push up, and Hanlebong pushed way back now. They're sending Vin up there as well, too. Oh, GBM going up as well. Maybe they'll get a chance after this red to dive Hanlebong. We'll see. Red buff should be coming back. Yep, just reappeared.
Hanlebong has to be so careful. It's like they will hand this over to GBM just for some increased. Nope, Finn gonna go ahead and grab it.
Okay. Makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, they've got such good vision control over that side. And JAF just doing a beautiful job of playing this one out. And Prime Optimus, you know, against SKTS, the reason why they did.
Oh, there's the ultimate. They're gonna come in onto Hanlebong, but Hanlebong already long gone. It's okay though.
They get the tower.
They do get the tower, yeah. Minion wave wasn't quite there, but they can take a couple hits. And what in the world? Hanlebong comes back in and immediately gets feared. I'm a bit surprised he did that. I think he underestimated the distance that Kuehl and Old B were away from the turret.
Also, Hanlebong has decided to go pickaxe right here, which I think if you're this far behind on Renekton is really just not a great idea.
Well, you're not going to get the opportunity to be aggressive at this point. Need to go tanky.
There's another tower down. GBM Actually roaming a bit, so they do nearly even up that tower count, but Jin Air Falcons still hanging on by 1. Vin, go ahead and prep that blue buff for GBM.
Yep.
We'll see what the build is for this Kassadin. When we saw Dade have that remarkable game in the finals, he did go Chalice into Rod of Ages into Tier. So a later tier, but because Kassadin scales so well with mana right now, because a lot of his damage is based on the size of his mana pool, getting that tier and the Rod of Ages pretty darn important.
Yeah, it is kind of scaling damage as the game goes on, really, no matter what else you buy. We'll see what GBM can do.
Yeah, with the shield that he now has as well, he has greater survivability, so he doesn't have to build maybe quite as tanky as he used to. Can get some generally considered less combat stats.
Prime trying to make a pick here. They kind of need to. But I don't think Jin Air is going to fall for it. Yeah, destroying some wards down, being safe. Cocooned into the brush, but Old B won't hook anything.
They got 2 minutes until it's Dragon 2. This is a very early setup, and frankly, Prime Optimus is wasting a lot of time right now. Wave is pushing back in Rock's direction, so he's got a lot of farm to get up there. Hanlebong has pulled within a level of Jax, but with the Tiamat, I mean, he's just going to get wrecked in that lane.
Yeah. Looks like we might have some action around the Dragon Pit as it is about a minute and a half away. And there's a flash trying to get Vin. The Solar Flare was awful. Misses him, but they do manage to lock him down anyway. They do get the kill. But I don't know, man. That it took 4 people, and it took a lot of ults to get rid of him.
That was a very bad skill shot from Kuehl.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
He's not been hitting him today.
Well,
only that one, but other than that, it has not been spectacular.
He did get the stun down onto Evelyn, which proved to be enough in that situation, but they've got a minute left. And the issue here is Nomaf and Hanlebong have their teleports up, but they're not actually making plays with those teleports. Finally, Nomaf going to go catch the wave up in the top lane as they start to set up here. But we do see Vin already revived. He will be there in plenty of time for the Dragon spawn.
Yep. Might as well call it Vin Diesel with how fast he'll be back to lane. XD gets a fear onto Old B, and Pilot pops the ultimate. Looks like they'll be able to get Elise, no problem. The teleport coming in from Hanlebong.
2 teleports.
Whoa, Kuehl has trapped XD and Pilot in the Dragon Pit, but look at this, GBM coming over, trying to mix it up a bit. Hanlebong low already, and here comes Rocket Vin Counter-Strike coming in to help secure that kill on Hanlebong. Dragon up in 15, and they'll be able to turn around and take that easily as they push Optimus back again.
Prime Optimus really looking off their game this time around.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't even a lane swap, but you have to play the game in a certain way right now to basically ensure against the lane swap if it happens that your top laner doesn't fall too far behind. And a lot of it just rolls back to the fact that they didn't get that kill onto GBM, and then they weren't able to make any other plays with the Caitlyn and the Leona in the mid lane. And skill shots have been off tonight for Prime Optimus in general, and that's really making a lot of difference in these skirmishes. I mean, Old B just gets ulted right here, and he gets exhausted, and then he dies. And the double teleport coming in onto the same ward. But there's another missed Zenith Blade from Kuehl.
Yeah. GBM over the wall, and the damage begins. And there's the teleport from Rock behind it. Easy team fight for the Jin Air Falcons.
And this is what we talked about. That is the terror of the Jin Air Falcons comp, is they can just pop over a wall and surprise the hell out of you.
Yeah. I gotta say, too, XD's Fiddlesticks has been really good this game. 0-0-5, he's made a lot of good plays.
Not to mention that he's contributed to all but one of the kills so far. And
yeah.
It's a champion that we don't see that often
no.
in support these days, especially, as you were saying, Doa, after all of the nerfs to his fear.
Yeah, it's generally a little bit weaker than it used to be, but in this comp, I think it's a great fit.
Yeah, I do as well. I think it's very situational, but
yeah,
it does seem to be working out quite well in this context.
Yeah, Nomaf just trying to farm as much as he can in that bot lane right now, but still pretty far behind.
Yeah, they're really far behind. And yeah. I mean,
Rock doesn't walk right into kill Hanlebong immediately. Leap strikes over the wall, and the rest of Jin Air is right there. They catch Old B, who tried to come in after him. Another easy kill, and the lead continues to grow for the Jin Air Falcons. This game is just theirs. They have the map. They have all the power. Surrender 20.
Well, with the scaling of Kassadin, and this is a problem. I mean, it was an issue in the pick and ban phase as well, where giving up, when Lucian is banned, giving up Jax, Kassadin, and Twitch is pretty darn bold, and all you got for that was Elise and Kale. I don't think that's worth it, and so I think Prime, not only was it their execution of some of these plays, and not only was it the fact that they got Han LeBlanc into what I believe to be the wrong lane, and they got him in there late as well, but it's the pick and ban phase is baffling as well. So really, Prime Optimus kind of dropping the ball on every level tonight.
Yeah. And now they're going to try to take back a little bit of jungle control, but it's going to be tough. They've got the bot lane kind of pushing in their favor, which is something, but you just can't imagine a Prime player at this point meeting a Jin Air player in this game and living.
Okay, well, GBM is going to be going for Iceborne Gauntlet. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, I mean,
honestly, when you're
when
you're this far ahead, it doesn't actually like that kind of item with Iceborne allows you to chase down people so effectively, and because most of the damage coming out of Prime is going to be physical, then you do get yourself a little bit more safety as well. So if you're already this far ahead, basically if you're an item ahead, might as well go for some defensive stats, just because you don't have to worry about killing them. Your damage output is going to be comparable, and it gives you that little bit of extra survivability that prevents them from making picks on you, makes it easier to escape, and therefore less likely to surrender a lead.
Yeah.
Even if you get into a bad situation.
Seems to work. They're going to push up the mid lane a little bit. Hard to believe it's only 21 minutes into the game, but already a 7,000 gold lead for the Jin Air Falcons. It's massive.
Not what I would have thought coming in tonight, having seen Prime Optimus last season. Especially because Prime Optimus, they beat SKTS by using some very innovative strategies back in the 4v0 days, and they really did prepare very well for that match. They mind-gamed their opponent, and they seemed on top of the meta, whereas tonight they seem very far behind.
There's a team fight. They do lock up Vin, but no follow-up. Rock coming into the backlines forces a flash from Nomad. He's going to follow him over the wall, going to let him go. Maybe they can take some objectives. Old B getting a little bit trapped here. Han LeBlanc comes into zone, but GBM pops in and finishes him off. Han LeBlanc so low thanks to the ultimate from Twitch.
Yeah, he's going to have to go back immediately. And now, are they going to try and push this advantage more? XD, there's no ward on him.
Yeah, he's ready to come
He's
over
got
the
his
wall.
ult. There we go. There's the ward.
Okay. Yep. Okay, Twitch, what do you say?
I like how much Twitch just mutters junk these days whenever he's doing something.
He does.
Ryan has been slowly just putting more and more just random quotes in the game. Not sure how much I like it.
Oh, yeah? I haven't played much on NA, so I'm like missing all these.
Oh, I have no idea what
I
new
only
Twitch
hear the
says.
green ones. But
no
I
clue.
don't know. He says Don Monty are the best casters ever. I think that sounds like something Ryan would put in the game.
He says, I wish my ult was still called Spray and Pray.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely what he says. And that's also what everybody else in the world says, too. He's like, why did they change Expunge to Contaminate? New Twitch quotes, ladies and gentlemen.
Rock is just an absolute monster right now. And I think this was a lot of the expectations of this guy, because he did, when he first came into the scene on this Alienware team, he was surprisingly highly ranked on Challenger, and he did look strong. It's just he looked out of place in the mid lane, especially not only his picks that we talked about, he did play mid lane Renekton, but also just stylistically. And this seems to be suiting him so well. I mean, he's been crushing this game.
Yep, strong mechanical player, highly ranked on the Korean Challenger queue. Where have we seen this before? You know, this is kind of the makings of many a star in Champions.
Of course, and XC, what a great player too. He's really grown over his time. He looked good for a rookie on the Stealths last season, even though the Stealths kind of choked and didn't make it into Champions at the end. Which, you know, happens to one or two teams every season, just because of the amount of competition here in Korea and the size of these qualifiers as well, which is, these are, I mean, we usually have 100, 150 teams trying to get into Champions. What you guys are seeing right now is the very, very last stages of a very complicated qualifier bracket.
Final 16 out of hundreds. And they're going to just clear out some of these wards. But yeah, I mean, this game has been really surprising in how good Jin Air has looked and how disappointing Prime has been. And you know, this may not be indicative of Prime's play overall, but certainly an off game for Optimus.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, to their credit, they look good against SKTK and NLB as well. It's
been a while, though.
Definitely a bit confusing.
Yeah.
But it's good, I think, for the Jin Air Falcons, who did have such a woeful season last time.
Yep. Everybody looking pretty strong, honestly, in their roles. Vin's had some nice flanks. GBM has done a good job of stabilizing in that lane early on after it was kind of tough. Rock, of course, doing great. Pilot and XC having a good duo. All in all, some pretty good stuff.
Yep, JBM's going to clear out the back of the pit right now. And they're not looking after that Baron yet.
Man.
It's so risky. I mean, this is really where this composition for the Jin Air Falcons shine. The GBM on your screen is baiting this Baron and getting that vision control. We talked about it early, but you just walk slightly in the wrong place, and there's an invisible Twitch and Evelyn popping up on you. There's a Jackson Cassidy jumping over the wall onto your head. It's so scary to be in the jungle, a dark jungle against this team. It's about the scariest composition you could imagine in this situation.
All right, waiting for that ward to come in.
Now, that said, Jin Air Falcons need to get better vision control over this Baron area to really take advantage of that.
Well, teleport up for Rock, so he can come back up and be with the team if he needs to. Looks like he's going to just split push in bot lane, and who's really going to stop him? I mean, he's got his Trinity Force done. Yeah, you're right. Nobody actually is strong enough to stop him right now. And if more than a couple people get pulled away to that lane, easy Baron for the Jin Air Falcons. Yeah, they've got them between a rock and a hard place.
Oh boy, we can actually use that joke.
It's true.
Well, it'll be better when they play against Samsung Blue for the rock and a hard place, but
that's true. Between a rock and a hard place. Yep.
Well, looks like just more pushing here for the Jin Air Falcons. Now, they really don't have an ideal siege composition. Typically, Fiddlesticks is very good in siege comps because when you try and defend, he just fears you and you get free auto attacks on the turret. So they're just going to try and put some pressure on.
Oh, Rock coming out of Hollabong.
Yeah, use the 4-1 advantage. Because they're going to have to send somebody else to deal with Rock, and that's when the 4-man group can actually get some turret damage down. But it's just, this is not an ideal situation for the Falcons. The vision control and the baiting is absolutely what they should be focusing on right now.
Yep, and that's what they'll continue to do, it looks like, or
they can't
doing
see
a bit
that
better.
Ward.
Oh, wow, that's so weird.
I was wondering about that, actually, because
pushes.
That pink ward has been there for a long time now.
Yeah.
And the green ward had stayed up for pretty much the entire duration while GBM was sitting there, and I was wondering why he didn't go clear it out. Well, mystery solved, Doa.
Yep. Well, now it's gone at least.
Yeah, it did time out.
Myth busted. And Jin Air, they've got that ward in the brush there. Can they go in on this? Looks like red buff is probably going to be back soon. Rock's still being a bit of a nuisance in the bot lane. Just farthest away from Baron as he can be, obviously, pulling the Prime players farther away from that objective.
Yeah, right now, XC does have that Oracle's lens, but he hasn't used it the most efficiently, so they still see them sitting around here. Fortunately, they didn't check the back side of the pit right now.
And GBM trying to pretend he's the only one there. XD and
now
Pilot.
The problem is that they could be doing Baron at the moment. Yeah. And Prime doesn't know for sure what is going on, but they are going to start to try and clear out very slowly.
Oh, Old B, getting caught. There it is, they flash. And Old B in huge trouble. The Solar Flare slows people down. Maybe enough, but no, the Twitch Poison doing some damage. Q flashes over the wall, trying to get away. Now Zenshin left behind. Ignite taking away, and Zenshin will go down. So they don't get Old B, but they do get the 80 carry. And that could be their ticket to a Baron right there.
Yeah, it certainly will be. They have tons of damage coming in. Rock is just, he's got those 2 crucial core items already. He's going for a GA next to make sure that he doesn't die. I'm very curious what GBM is building. Probably a Void Staff.
Probably. We can't see the items right now, so it's hard to tell. But
he just has an Amtome, so I just don't know what his next item is going to be.
Easy Baron for the Jin Air Falcons, and now We'll see if they can kind of roll to victory. They're already 11,000 gold ahead. Kuehl gets caught by GBM, gets slowed down, tries to go back in, but Rock will claim another kill, 3-1 and 2.
This is just a disgusting pick comp, and I actually think that GBM's itemization here is pretty fun to watch, just because how do you even escape this?
Yeah, he's
once
gonna
the
slow
pick
you.
comes down, he slows you, and then they've got enough supplemental CC, the silence as well to prevent any kind of movement abilities.
Well, GBM,
it's really hard to get away when GBM gets on you.
Yeah, can come out of nowhere, silenced and slowed immediately. That's not a good spot to be in against Kassadin. GBM probably pretty happy about all this, of course. And it looks like they may recall, or they may decide to take the Dragon. They'll take the Dragon. Why not? Just extend that ridiculous gold lead.
They're playing this so safely, but who can really blame them?
It's one of the biggest leads we've seen in a game in a while.
Yeah, it came on very quickly as well, and that just shows, this just goes to show how complex this meta is. And that's really what I love about it, and I'm so excited. In fact, I think that this is the most interesting the game has been in all of Season 4 so far, because there's so many subtleties and intricacies to the lane swap dance right now. Even if you have a 1v1, there's so much stuff that you have to do right, and it really rewards smart play in a great way. And it may be very different from what most players experience in solo queue, but it's also the depth of champion pools that are possible right now, the number of objectives that you have to keep in mind, the constant push and pull of, do you have control over Dragon in the early game? Because, of course, with the changes to the towers, now that they're all even, that bottom side of the map has become more valuable again.
Yeah, definitely
with
true.
the increase to the Dragon Gold as well. So it's beautifully complex at the moment.
JAF Falcons moving in to try to possibly take an inhibitor turret. Not the best siege in the world, like we mentioned earlier, but just the sheer strength of being 13,000 gold ahead. They can just dive, and they will. Zenjin nearly blown up. Pilot gets the kill. Kuehl going down right afterwards. GBM gets that one. Rock jumps in the back lines, goes after Kale immediately. OB nearly dies in the air. Hanlebong low as well. Vin and Rock is going to chase him down. Meanwhile, OB goes on the Pilot, and there's a perfect ace as they take out Hanlebong. Pilot with the double kill. And even though the death timers are just a shade over 30 seconds, it is going to be the game in favor of the JAF Falcons, absolutely destroying Prime Optimus in a raffle stomp, the likes of which we have seldom seen here in Korea. There goes the Nexus, GG.
Yeah, extremely impressive performance from the JAF Falcons, and this is good stuff for this organization that had a really rough season. They came out just swinging this time around and take out a team that should have been, in most people's eyes, the favorite coming in tonight.
Yeah, well,